one of those incidents that would make you question your trust for anyone. Imagine someone waking up in the middle of the night to stab their best friend to death and try to run away with their properties. Even going as far as bribing security agents in the neighborhood to let him escape. However, how he was caught is even more interesting, quite shocking, but yet very satisfying. I don't know if this is a case of jealousy or if this is something that this boy, Raphael, has planned for a very long time. So this story involves two friends and it happened in Anambra State around October of 2022. Sometime early October, probably on the 10th or 11th of October, Raphael and AGK were said to be friends and they met in 2017. AGK is a businessman and is the breadwinner of his family. He travels to Indonesia from time to time, and in one of his trips back from Indonesia, he met Raphael, who was working at, in a salon that was close to AGK's sister's own. So, they met there and they formed a friendship, and over time, their friendship grew, even to the point that they moved in together. They moved into the same apartment together and they started living as roommates, as some sources said, even though Raphael most likely had his own place. But from time to time, he came around AGK's place and spent times there. And even when AGK would travel back to Indonesia, Raphael is still in his apartment, he's still driving his car, he's looking after the property. So the neighbors in AGK's compound knew them to be roommates, they knew them to be friends, people knew them to be close. Even though some people have questioned their closeness, that they may be closer than we think, but not to suggest anything, it's just what is being said. So that was it. Their relationship is clear enough. However, that night, it was said that as they were all sleeping around 11 p.m., they heard a loud scream. Someone was screaming in the compound. Now, this is according to the neighbor, because I asked a source who lived in the area to make inquiries, and this was what the neighbor told us, that they heard the scream, they heard a shout. It's a big compound with other tenants in it. And the landlord also lived in the compound, and it was the landlord who, among others, heard the scream and was disturbed by the scream. He knew someone had been hurt. The landlord was very sure that someone had been injured or someone had been hurt or someone had been killed. That is how deep the intuition was for this landlord, that he came down from his house and was like asking neighbors, did you guys hear that scream? It looks like someone has brought a girl into this house and killed the girl, because clearly that is what is happening. So they are aware of what is going on these days, because hearing that scream was something that, triggered that consciousness in them that somebody was hurt. In that moment, the scream went out. And neighbors confirmed that, yes, they heard the scream, but in the discussion with the landlord, they were trying to understand, is it a man or a woman? Some said, no, that's a man screaming, not a woman. But regardless of who was screaming, the landlord was not satisfied. I feel like the landlord is the hero here in this story, honestly, because he wasn't just satisfied with the fact, like to him, it did not matter if it was a man that was screaming or a woman or a goat or a pig. The scream was something that was deep and looked like someone was in danger. And instantly, this landlord began calling everybody out for a meeting around 11, 12 midnight. He made sure that everybody came outside. And in fact, he even started going from house to house asking, was that scream from here? Was that scream from here? People were like, no, it wasn't from here. No one screamed from here. And then he asked everyone to come downstairs. Like literally everyone had to come out because they need to know where that scream came from. And they were sure it came in from that compound. So everyone is coming down from their apartment. Everyone is coming down from their building. But in AGK's apartment, no one was coming out. And they went to knock at the door. And that was when Raphael replied from the window that he's not around. He has traveled, that AGK has traveled. And that was what Raphael told them. But at the same time, they told him to still come outside. That's not the point. They're not looking for AGK, they're looking for a scream. So they told Raphael to come out, and just like that, after a few moments, Raphael came out to join all the other tenants, and they were talking about where the noise came from, and everybody said it's not from my place. Even Raphael also said, no, it's not from here, that he's the only one in the house, that AGK had left. AGK had gone somewhere. Now, what was now ironic is that another neighbor was said to have come into the compound late. He closed from work late, I'm not sure, but on his way into the compound, he saw AGK's vehicle parked outside with his bathroom slippers, a popular slippers that people know him to wear, outside near the vehicle. So he was like, okay, this is weird. Why is his car parked outside, and why is his slippers just littered around the compound? And this neighbor joining in with the other tenants, seeing that something when he came, he saw that everybody's now out and they're trying to understand what happened with the scream. He also realizes that, okay, if this AGK's friend Raphael is saying that AGK is not around, then why is his car parked outside? But he did not bring it up as a concern. It wasn't something that clicked on them in that instant. So what they now did was the landlord began requesting that we all search each other's apartment. Because this landlord is not playing. This landlord's zeal and spirit is so strong that something bad happened and he was ready to get to the bottom of it. Even after everyone said, it's not from my place, it's not from my place, the landlord told himself that, okay, if it's not from any of your places, then we would have to search everyone's apartment. This is like a 2-story building, so they had to start going from apartment to apartment. Other tenants will search your apartment. So it is not you that will search your apartment, the other tenants will be searching. And according to this neighbor giving us this information, she said that Raphael was even one of the people searching other people's apartments. He was the one carrying it on his head. He was the one, literally he was helping with the search. No one would have suspected. No one would have thought, because he carried it on his head like he was so concerned about the screaming. He even claimed that he heard it, that's why he was scared to open the door when they came to check on him. So that's why he didn't, open the door. That's why he shouted that he's not around, because he thought it was something bad. So he had given the other tenants the impression that he too was just as concerned as them. So it was now time to search AGK's apartment. And when Raphael was asked to open the door, the other tenants obviously would go and search it. Since he was searching other people's own, the other tenants went to search his own apartment. I feel in my heart of hearts that these tenants suspected him. I feel like they suspected him. I feel like they saw through his bullshit. So when they went into his apartment to search, it was said that Raphael was like, oh, search there. He was the one telling them where to check. And they were like, he was now acting way more guilty than expected. If for anything, if he had behaved himself, he most likely would have gotten away with it. But with the way he was acting so guilty, so he was acting like he was hiding something, because when he was telling them, oh, search there, oh, don't check there, there's nothing there, just check. The tenants were like, boy, you need to shut up. When you were searching our apartments, we did not tell you where to search. Now we're searching yours, you're pointing at places to search and where not to search. It's giving guilty. And that was why the neighbors spent extra time in his apartment. At first sight, they did not see anything. The room was empty. The apartment looked empty. The bathroom was empty. The wardrobe was empty. It was like, okay, there is really nothing here. But the boy was still giving guilty. The boy was still acting nervous. This is what happens when you kill someone. You can't fake it. It will show. And it was now said, just as they were about to leave, one of the neighbors felt like, wait, raise that bed up. And that was when they raised the bed up and saw under the bed that AGK, who he had claimed had gone out, was wrapped in his mattress, in his blanket, and squeezed under the bed, like he was shoved way under the bed. And when the neighbors discovered his body, that was when they figured out where the scream came from. AGK's body was covered in blood and he was dead. That was how they realized that Raphael had done the unspeakable. Although some sources were claiming that it was security agents who came to search, but the tenants say that they were the ones who did the search, and he was immediately held under citizen arrest until the police was called. He did not even say anything. He could not deny it at this point. He was trying to beg them, trying to bribe them. He did not even claim a fight or anything. That was when the tenant also realized that AGK's car has been parked outside. His key was even plugged in the car, and there were some properties that were in the vehicle already that belonged to AGK. So as at the time of hearing the scream and the landlord coming out, this boy, Raphael, was already planning on running away. He was going to run away that night. That's why he parked the car outside. That's why he had worn this boy's slippers and probably was in a hurry, did not know when he took it off on the road, putting some of his important properties in the vehicle. So at that point, obviously, he was already making plans to run when they called the meeting and called the search. If for some reason the landlord had waited the next morning, waited till dawn to do this search, Raphael would have gone away with it. Raphael would have escaped. Raphael would have been successful enough to have killed this boy and run away. And the tenants only know that the apartment belongs to AGK. So they probably wouldn't even know who Raphael is or where he came from. They just know him to be AGK's roommate and friend. But thanks to this very strong instinct of this landlord, this boy was immediately caught. He was arrested, and it was said he tried to bribe security agents with 2 million naira to die the case. And maybe that's why we're not even hearing so much of the case, because it didn't go as viral as it should. Maybe he may have attempted or successfully tried, but somehow the news will still go out. It's such an unfortunate incident that this happened to someone who was trusting his friend. Like, AGK was said to be the breadwinner of his family despite being the last born. He was even making preparations for Raphael to travel out to Dubai for some reason, because they said when they were searching the house, they saw documents that had been prepared for Raphael to travel out. Maybe Raphael was also probably going to travel out and he needed more. This just looks like a case of greed, not jealousy. I would have thought it was jealousy, but this is greediness for me, because AGK was really good to Raphael. He was taking care of him. He was also providing for him. He was footing his bills. He was letting him drive his car. He was letting him stay in his house when he was out hustling. It was said that AGK had recently returned again from Indonesia to bury his dad, and I guess it was a period of staying after the burial when he was killed. And it's just hurtful, very painful. Some sources claim that they had a fight earlier that night. When you read it in the articles, there are some sources who claim that they had a fight, they had an argument over money. However, the tenants that we spoke to said that they didn't have a fight, that people even heard them playing Ludo as late as 9-10. They were heard playing Ludo, playing a game. So it seemed that they were peaceful. I guess this boy just turned into a monster out of nowhere to end his friend's life. So guys, this is the very unfortunate story that happened to a young man named AGK, killed by his supposed best friend, a close friend, someone he trusted, someone he probably may have loved, because again, their relationship is still something of questioning, but most sources are going with they were really close and they were best friends. It's really painful though, really hurtful that this young man Raphael was so filled with greed, so filled with evil, because I don't think it was jealousy. There was even a claim that AGK wanted to sell his vehicle, and Raphael was the one that told him, oh, don't sell it, wait, don't be in a hurry, don't sell it. And I guess that would make sense, because he was also trying to run away with the vehicle when he was caught, which proves that maybe this is just Raphael's plan all along, waiting for the day AGK would have so much that he would just kill him and take everything. It's just unfair. It's just horrible. AGK's body at the time of making this story has been deposited. It's not clear if he has been buried. Raphael is still in prison. It's still not clear what his fate is. There's not much to this story minus what we already know. So I guess maybe there will be an update regarding their case, but we just have to wait and see. So let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Let me know what you think about the story. Is this a case of jealousy? Is this a case of greed? And what do you think about the actions of the landlord? Because I think his will to know what really happened, his curiosity was really what made this boy AGK find his justice as fast as he could. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe, and turn on notification button. Should there be any new story, you'll be the first to get notified. Thank you guys for watching.